Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Financial Freedom. We'll give everybody a moment to join us.
I guess I'm back now. Damn.
You are,
Yeah,
Mr. Burns.
I'm
All
ready.
right. So tonight we have with us Linton and Clinton Burns with Burns Preferred Contracting, and we're going to give everybody a few minutes to join us, gentlemen. And once we have a few people to join us, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. So we'll give them a couple of minutes to join in.
Okay.
All right. And if you have anybody that you want to see it live tonight, we're broadcasting on Facebook and all of the other social media platforms under Rejoice and Praise Community Church. All right. Well, it is 7:02, so I want to go ahead and get started. And as always, we'll start with a prayer. I'll lead us in prayer this evening. Father, thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for your loving arms of protection that guides and protect us each and every day. Father, thank you for the families that are on this session this evening. We ask for you to just guide them and protect them in all of your ways. And we ask that no distractions come upon this session this evening, Lord, as we talk about financial freedom. And thank you, Lord, for allowing our guests to join us this evening. It is in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, tonight we have with us Linton and Clinton Burns. These are like family. These gentlemen are like family to me. So they're special to me. And they are really assets in our community. Their business is Burns Preferred Contractors. They hold license in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and also neighboring states. They are licensed plumbers, electricians, and they work commercial as well as residential projects. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them. I'm going to let them jump right in and tell you how they got started in this business, because it is a very fast moving, fast paced business when you think about contractors these days. And I know many of us, as we have home improvement projects, and the church itself is taking on a project to build a sanctuary or either remodel a building. And so this is a perfect timing for us to speak with professionals such as yourselves to help give us some guidance, some knowledge. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Linton or Clinton, whichever one wants to speak first, and to get us started tonight.
I think my brother's going to open it up.
Okay.
I guess, the thing about how do we get started in this business of ours that we've been in for almost over 20 years. Sometime all of us, my brother, myself, all of us was in corporate America for a while. And then one way, you never can reach your full potential as you dibble and dab in business. You got it on the side, and if you make a few dollars, it's okay. But if you want to make your full potential, you got to be out there 24/7 if you expect to succeed. And once that was taken away from us, my brother and I, we both lost our jobs the same day. So then you have to say, well, what are you going to do next? We knew what we was going to do because we had been in it for a while, but didn't want to step out on faith and start to actually develop a business. But once you get thrown out there and there's nowhere to go, so you have to make it work. And for a number of years, we have struggled and made it work. But it has been God who has led us, who has been with us, who has brought us through the hard times and everything that we've been through thus far. Clinton?
Well, to piggyback off what my brother said, I think he covered most of the bases when we lost our job. And I guess from childhood, my brother and I always wanted to be in business. At that time, we didn't know what it would be. And so we always wanted to do something business wise. And when we lost our jobs, my brother was very adamant about not working for anyone else anymore. So we decided that we would venture out and started doing plumbing. That's what we do, the bulk of our business, and move out from there. We started residential, did that for a few years with one of the big boxes, I should say. And then it was time to make another move because, we had an advisor who said we got to grow it. They're not going to help you. And we got to grow it, and we got to grow it in a way that, we can be profitable, have some employees, self-sufficient, so forth and so on. So we decided we would move to the commercial side of the business. And that's the bulk of what we do is commercial plumbing. Granted, as a plumber, you got to know a little bit about all of it, residential, commercial, and industrial. But our thing is commercial, and that's basically where we put all of our efforts. Now, to say running a business been easy, no. But here's one thing I will share, and I think that early on, I will say, as a Christian, and we're coming from the Christian's perspective here, that you have to have God head of your business. Else, you can make it now, but you have to put him out front and operate on godly principles. Because if you don't, some friend gonna come by there and especially when times get hard, because faith without works is dead, but you got to do some work. But sometimes somebody comes by when things ain't going right, then they're going to say, we in the plumbing business. How about I got some pipe I got from somewhere. That is the time you're going to need to fall on your faith and say, hey, I got to do the right thing. So that's basically what we operate on, doing the right thing, putting God first in your business and in your life.
Absolutely. And all business isn't good business.
Right, that is correct. All business isn't good business.
You have to be selective on what business transactions you take on. And
Correct.
You're absolutely right. Putting God in the middle of it and praying about where he wants you to go from a business perspective is so very vitally important as you move forward. So you lost your jobs. You decided we're not working for anybody else.
Yeah.
We're going to do this thing ourselves. That's faith. That's stepping out on faith right there, because, as we have families and responsibilities, sometimes the fear, and no, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but it creeps in and starts talking to you, but you have to step out on faith, and you have to have that faith to say, I'm going to make this, but it's what you pour into it.
Right.
That makes a difference. And I will say, having known you guys for about those same 20 years and having worked with you on many projects, probably one of your worst customers that I know the level of professionalism, all jokes aside, that you have, because you are honest and you are upfront. If it's not going to work, if I tell you what my budget is, and my budget is not going to work for the project that I'm asking for, you are going to be upfront and share that with me. And I think that's always a good business practice, because as homeowners, talking about the, the residential side of things, we don't know what we don't know sometimes. And talk about how you help people to plan for projects.
Okay.
Well, I think if somebody come, and I'm only talking from
Mhm.
when we get projects in,
Right.
look at them, see if in fact we can do it for what you have or how much money you have,
Mhm.
and what are you trying to do. I'm gonna just revert back to the residential side when you're trying to do remodel a bathroom, because that was basically what I was responsible for. So somebody come to you, want to remodel a bathroom. They got all these bright ideas, and you look at them, you talk to them about them, but you got to be honest with how much money you got, what are you trying to do, and see if that gonna work with what you're trying to do. A lot of people have these bright ideas about bathroom remodel and have no idea what it costs. And then there's the other thing is, can we get there structurally? And that's where you got to be honest with the customer and say, hey, we can't get there, whether it's finances or whether it's structurally, and then we got to move in another direction. And sometimes that direction is we got to cut back, especially if you don't have the money. We got to cut back, move in another direction. Hopefully we can get what you want, may not all you want, but some of what you want with the money and with whatever the structure provides us to get there.
Right. And that's the one thing that sometimes is um I find it sometimes difficult to communicate. You all may not find it difficult to communicate, to have all of those things aligned together in terms of people understanding. It's not simple. Like you said, the infrastructure may not allow me to, flip the bathroom around from the way that it is today. Or do a completely tile, shower in that particular bathroom, but you all are the experts. And so,
Right.
as experts, I appreciate the value that you have when it comes to projects and being able to sit down with a client and communicate those things and give a little education at the same time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about some of the things you all have done in the community.
Okay, in the community. So I'm gonna talk about the Hiram community where we spend most of where we are very active before COVID. So my brother and I is very active with the preservation committee for the Hiram Rosenwald School Museum here in Hiram. Started by Booker T. Washington. Uh, it was the first and the oldest Black school still standing, and we're trying to preserve that. So my brother and I donate a lot of time and money to keep that afloat. They have a lot of picnics. My brother and I sponsor. We just say, y'all provide the condiments. We'll take it from food. We'll take it the rest of the way. We'll provide the meat, whatever. And all of those proceeds go to them. So that's basically what we give back in terms of our community service. And of course, I'm in the church and I am one of the trustees for our church, as well as I serve on the usher board, men usher board at the church as well. And when we got to interact all that together, I think sometimes you can get a little, I don't want to get overboard like I've been before and keep everything in the proper perspective so I can be effective. So I think that's enough for both of us at this point in time.
What advice would you give someone who's starting out in this business?
And now we're talking about being an entrepreneur.
Yes, being an entrepreneur.
I think the biggest thing is, like I said earlier, is that you have to put God first. That is the first order of business. You have to put him first in ahead of your business, number one. Because he owns it all. We just stewardships of it. So he owns it all. And the other thing is we have to go by the golden rule. Do unto others as you have others do unto you. And that is mean in terms of employees, that in terms of your customers, that in terms of you, people you pay, do the right thing. Okay. The other thing is take action and work hard. And for my brother and I, we turn a lot of wrenches over the years because our advisor said early on, you need to get out there and make it happen. You too. Took it my brother and I. So I've turned a lot of wrenches over the years, and I'm getting where for the last few years I just supervise, which is a good thing because as my brother and I move toward retirement, and we look forward to that. So basically, you got to put things in order to get there. And along that way, number 4, be wary of debt. Don't overextend yourself. Because if you my brother and I, we borrowed money. But the thing is, you got to keep that in its proper perspective when you do that. Because people, when they start a business, first of all, you got to figure out what you want to do, what kind of business you want, and then come up with a plan with what you're going to do with the business, strategize, so to speak, and then you got to execute it. And the other thing is, money plays a part in all of that. So you got to be very careful about how much money you take, because if you overextend, you won't be able to meet payroll, you won't be able to pay your vendors, and God knows what else down the line. So you got to be very careful with the debt. And like I said, and number 5, plan and strategize how you want this thing to go. Get you some good legal advice, good financial advisors, okay, and marketing, strategize, and then go. So those are the things that we did. We didn't do all of that but we did get there. But in getting there, we shortcut until we got on track. But now we're on track, and I have to say, it's our business probably the best it's ever been at this point. Because one time it was if we made 100,000, we were doing good. We thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. Then it went up to 500,000, and from there it steadily climbed. But that is what you want it to do. And so, but I have to say, the road wasn't easy. But those are the times you rely on your faith, put God out there, and He always comes through.
Absolutely. You want to add to that, Mr. Burns?
Mm-hmm.
Linton,
So you want to add to
that? Yes. My brother is more in the field operations of it all, for as what we do in terms of the financial portion of it, in terms of how do you get work, how do you market yourself to be successful in this business. And there's a lot of different options you can use to do that. Okay. So what you have to do is figure out what works for you. For us, we didn't do a lot of more advertising. Our name is out there, but it took a lot of years to get it out to where now, they need a commercial project going on, they'll call us, and we don't have to go looking for it. But it takes a while to get there. Trust me. There's been a lot of times you didn't know where your next job was coming from. And then the next thing you know, God has sent you 2 or 3 jobs. Just like my brother said, now we're in that arena where, you like the big jobs as well as the small jobs to fill in when there is no job. Okay. Right. But I tell anybody, if you want to be successful, all you have to do is put the time in to do it. Take God first, put the time in to do it, and you'll be successful with this. But, a lot of people, when things get hard, you write out all the checks on Friday, it ain't down for you. But then it gets tough. Sure enough.
Yeah. Those are the times you got to rely on your faith.
Yeah. So you have to persevere on. So a lot of people, they want to bail then. That ain't the time to bail. Just running you through something, and then it's going to get better as you move on down the road.
You guys have built the brand. So people know who you are. in the community, in the greater Atlanta area, in the surrounding areas. So like you said, they call on you. You don't have to do much marketing anymore because your name is out there, and the type of work that you do, people know the quality of your work. And when you have that, the brand has been built. And one of the things you said that I love, and that I know that you're now building these apprentices
Oh, okay.
who are coming under you, because when you retire, right, you
Yeah.
want to hand some of these skills off to somebody,
Well,
know.
yeah. Let me say. So, yeah, that is true. So, as my brother and I move forward toward retirement,
Mhm.
we have a young man that is coming along, and he's doing very well. But you would hope your children would be a part of this. But I have to be honest, they don't like this. I didn't think I would like it early on, but I love it now. So they didn't like it. So my nephew has taken hold. Now I'm gonna tell you, when he first got started, I was like, he said he was in it to win it. I wasn't quite sure about that. Okay, in it to win it. That's what he told me. That was like 3 years ago. I mean, yeah. So he's got his journeyman license,
All right.
and then he's studying for his master's. So we're putting things in place so that he can take the torch and move forward, because you got to have somebody that can pick it up, leave a legacy for somebody. I mean, your kids ain't got to give it to him.
Right.
But I'm no longer here. At least he can run it. My brother and I, we've done our job and move on. I mean, I'm gone, So, but we got somebody that's coming along real well to help us out with our projects and so we can take some time off. Because my brother and I, we just been running it ever since we started. Not a very many vacations and stuff like that. So we have time now to do some things like that when you got an individual and trust can get it done.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're right. Now, everybody's not going to be interested in it. But when you find those that are interested and that you can pour into, it's very rewarding, for not just for them, for you as well, to be able to see them come along. I've seen one of the jobs where you're coaching along, and I mean, these guys work so hard, you all. Clinton had a project that he was working on with me, and he just not long had surgery, and he was just coaching, and
Yeah.
so, and I was being nosy as they were doing the job. But I saw what you were pouring into these young men, and how you sort of stood back and you asked the question, now what do you do?
Mhm.
And they were coming along, and then you got to a point, and you asked the question, and instead of saying no, that's not right, you said, well, what I would do is this. So you make them think, right?
Correct.
About the decision they are about to make, so that I think that sticks with them when you do that, when as you're coaching. And you said it right. I always tease my kids. Sometimes I can tell them something, and somebody else comes along and tell them the same exact thing, and they tell me as if it was new. And I was like, "What? I told you that." And hearing it from somebody else, I guess, validates it for
A light bulb cover.
them. Absolutely. Well, that is fantastic. So let me take y'all back a little bit.
Okay.
What would you have told your younger self, now that you have all of this experience under your belt, and you've been through the trenches and the hard times and the good times, and you're looking back and you're looking at the younger Clinton and the younger Linton, what advice would you have given those young men?
It's
I
been
probably would have said, don't do it. Because I don't know. I think I probably would have said, I probably would have done things a little differently than what we did. But I think I still would have wanted to be an entrepreneur. I still want to be on my own business and and be my own boss, so to speak. And so I still would have did it. I always told myself, we got to. I want to be that person. I want to be my own boss, and that's where I would do. That's what I saw. It wouldn't have changed. Now we probably wouldn't have done some of the things we've done to try to get there, but yeah, I would have. I would have still stayed the course.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would say that, I told my younger self, oh Lord, you're in control. You got to go with it. You got to make the effort. You got to put forth the effort to make this thing work. So when you get out on your own and you're trying to make things work, it can be tough on your younger self. Okay. And there's times when you say, I can't give up. I got to keep moving. And everybody wants to be a success. Nobody wants to be a failure. So you keep working at it and you set yourself some goals and you obtain those goals. When you change that, set another higher goal and you move on from that. So it's kind of, for me, I don't want to do anything else. I should have jumped out here earlier, but I didn't. I worked for private enterprise and corporate America for a long time. I probably would be retired now if I had a did it earlier. Okay, that's what I would tell my younger self.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But you know what? It's all a part of God's plan, right? So
Yeah.
maybe He wasn't ready for you then. I look
Yeah.
at myself and um I think the same way. Would I have done it? No, no. Being in corporate America, I had a friend of mine who told me she was retiring in 5 years, and I said, "Oh, I said I'm probably another 10 years. I've got a medical student." Uh,
Oh, yeah.
and so I said, "No, I at least have 10 more years." Well, I did it before she did, and and surprised myself. I'm working on some things, and I understand what you guys are saying in terms of just making sure that you have everything aligned and asking God to give me guidance on things. And not to say that I may not go back into corporate America, but I love your entrepreneur spirit and the drive that you have. um I know retirement's around the corner. Anything in between now and retirement you want to accomplish?
Well, I think we're on the path where we want to kind of pass the torch, but to put it on a little firmer base in terms of jobs that we basically move from employees to we use a lot of subcontractors to do the work. We done been on that employee thing, so we don't want to do that anymore. We want to be able to pass the torch on and let it run on and let it be more profitable than it's been in the past with less employees.
Okay. And working with subcontractors, is it always smooth sailing? You bring in the subcontractors and it just
Well,
works, right? They just do what they're supposed to do. You don't have
Uh,
to work. That's not the way.
working, I guess, since I'm the one that brings them in, somewhat, uh, subcontractors have to be like you. They have to have the same goals that you have. They have to produce the same quality of work that you have. They have to carry the same amount of insurance that you have. And sometimes that's where we fall down
Mhm.
because there's not enough subcontractors out that has the package that you need to do the work. Okay. Luckily for us, we found that. But a lot of people that I know, they don't have that, so that they can lean back on it to be able to start a job and know that this guy's going to show up and he's going to do it and he's going to do it correctly and has all of the requirements and all of the insurances that he needs to do it. So that can be a little challenging sometimes and make stand on top of the, because what did they do? Take it out next this day and cancel it tomorrow. So you got all kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes when you start talking about challenges and things that happen on jobs and that things of that nature.
Oh, good. So we had a comment and a question. Sage advice. And what's next? So I know the two of y'all, right? And
Mhm.
so you all say retirement. Are you
Yes.
are you truly gonna be able to retire?
No,
I kn
No.
no. I think my brother and I probably, as long as we, we can get around, probably gonna have our hands in it. Now, probably not as much
Right.
as we have now, but we are gonna have our hands in it. And the other thing is that I got a few more years to bring him on so he can be not like me, but can be helmet like I do it and
Okay.
like Lynn does. Because we got to get him some help. But for the most part, we probably won't retire. But it will allow us to do some things that we never was able to do when you're working and trying to build a business.
Right.
At
Absolutely.
least you got it there now. You just want to sustain it and move it forward.
Right. Because I know you guys like to travel and do all kinds of things. So I know that's in the horizon.
That's in
That
the
is in
right.
the horizon as soon as we can get there. Okay.
And you're gonna get there. I have no doubt
Oh yeah, I have no
you
doubt
are
we're
going
gonna
to
get
get
there.
there.
I think we both enjoy being away from all of this, but sometimes we don't get the opportunity to get away as much as we would like to. But that is one. That's what's next. Uh, to go away and not have to worry about getting a call and not have to worry about anything. That it's all going to be taken care of by the crew that you left behind to do. So that's what's next.
So,
Okay.
so to answer your question, we're trying to build a solid foundation
Okay.
that can be run by whoever, whether it's my nephew, that when we do leave and go out of town, like he said, I don't want to get that phone call and something went wrong. I want to leave somebody behind capable to make it happen and don't need to call me to tell me something went wrong. He takes care of it.
Right.
That's
Just call you and give you an update that
update on everything going fine. That's all I want to hear.
that's all you want to hear.
Yeah, that is going
Everything is on track. Everything is going
going
fine.
fine.
That's good project management right there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're almost there.
Oh, and the I think you've been, like you said earlier, you've been through the hard times. You've been in the trenches. So now you're sort of molding it and you polishing it to get it
Mhm.
the way you want it to be. And that's a really really good place to be in, right? As you prepare for retirement.
Mhm.
Because I've got to see that one. With you two. So tell
That's
me, what does financial freedom mean to you two?
right, to free. As my mother would say, putting some away for a rainy day, whether it's stocks, bonds, and whatever else you got.
Okay.
That is financial freedom. That you got money to do whatever you want to do, and and you're able to live the lifestyle that you want to live. Now, I didn't say I was rich, but you'll be able to live the lifestyle you want to live. Money in the bank. I got all those other things in order, whether it's retirement, whether it's stocks, bonds, saves, whatever. Taking care of grandkids, whatever. You got all that, and you ain't worried about nothing. That's financial freedom. Me.
All right.
Yes.
Linton, what is it for you?
Same thing.
Same thing.
You work all these years. You want to be able to do some things that you want to do. You want to enjoy life. You want not to have to worry about when I'm going to Argentina. That's one of my favorite places to go. I don't have to worry about that. I just pick up and go. You got the money in the bank to finance the trip to do whatever you want to do. And you would deserve it. You worked all these years to build a business, to put it on a solid foundation, and it bless you to do that and to actually go and do some things outside of work. I look at my mother, when she passed, never done anything. She never
No.
had a vacation. They never went anywhere. I don't want that kind of life when I retire.
You guys are so right. I think about my mom. She had 3 years after she retired. And I said the same thing you did. I don't want that. I want to enjoy some of the fruit of my labor. I want to be able to enjoy that thing called retirement, right? And I want to know what to do with myself once I retire. Because some people don't. Once they retire, they say, "Uh oh, I'm used to getting up and going to work every morning. I don't really know what to do each morning. Now, I know for Clinton, probably Linton is going to work on the train collection, or he's going to be restoring a car or
No.
something, like that. And you'll be out riding your bike. Well, both
Yeah.
of you guys riding bikes on the trail.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Bridget, when it comes to retirement. My daddy told me something this year. He turned 99. He told me when you sit down, you go down. You got to keep it moving.
Got to keep moving. Absolutely.
You got to keep it moving, and that's what he does. He keeps it moving, and I don't plan on sitting down. I mean, I'm gonna keep it moving, and yeah, I'll be doing some of that stuff you talking about, riding the bike and all that other stuff.
Awesome. Hey, I want to take you back to something you said earlier, and I want you to expand on that a little bit. And I think it was Linton that talked about it, because you don't often think about when someone is doing work for you. And I'm talking about it could be residential or it could be commercial, but making sure that they have their credentials, they have the right insurance, and that they still have the insurance policy that they show you, and that they are bonded. What do you all recommend for those who may be listening in? What kind of advice would you give to?
Okay. I think when we have a project and we get that project and we're looking for subcontractors and we're looking for people to do the work, we get so excited in our project, and sometimes we forget about some of the major things that we've got to have in order to do that. Since I do all of our bonding and I do all of our contracts and stuff like that, you take that. I tell everybody, he coming to give you a contract. Well, don't give him no money, okay? Don't put nothing up front until you're satisfied with everything. When he gives you that insurance certificate, you call that carrier and you find out exactly whether or not it's any good. Because we've had, well, they've had so many problems in the past with fake insurance certificates. They're out there. Everybody comes by there, tree cutters, roofers, them the worst ones. Those type people, they're the worst for in terms of having insurance and keeping it. A lot of times we forget about that, and when something happens, then we get the call. Well, what happened? Well, I gave him some money. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have did. So if you get a contract, you go over that contract thoroughly to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. You get its insurance certificate and you check it out for yourself. I mean, you can only do so much,
Right.
grant you. But once you do check it out and it is good, maybe before the project is over, you check it again before you pay it and
And
not give him no money.
one other thing too, like Glenn said, is that when you want someone to work in your home, quite naturally, and they give you a contract, check some of the references, check his references, check the insurance. But the biggest one thing I would say is that my brother and I get calls all the time from some of our friends. It, it's done gone south. And then all of a sudden they say, I gave him some money up front. Well, you wrong. Well, you messed up. Don't if they say if they say they want money up front, we got trouble. You need to look at that closely. Now I'm not saying all guys are that bad, because they should be able to carry it to the first draw, whatever that is. And once that happens, then and you're satisfied with the work, then you pay it. And of course, if he got all the other stuff, the insurance and whatever else is not, then you pay him. But we get a calls a lot from our friends. They done messed up and they done paid them the money. Then you in trouble. Don't never. They talk about they want money. You need to go find you another contractor.
And that's true. And a lot of times they're asking for 50% up front.
Yeah,
Yes.
and haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything. And so that you're right. If you can't carry that job to get what's needed to start that job, then I've got to question you as a contractor. And are you going to be able to finish this job for me?
Right.
Yeah.
We tried to, of course, ours is a little bit different. Let me say something. You said something about bonding. Now, bonding in residential is a lot different than bonding. So when they say they're bonding and they insured, see what kind of bond they got, okay? Uh, and they should be able to tell you what the bond is. For us, it's a payment and performance bond, saying that we're gonna do what we say we're gonna do. All right, so that if we don't, then they go to the bonding company to get paid. And in residential, it may not quite work that way,
Mhm.
but it's similar to what we do. So I tell people, listen, 30, 30, and backloaded. I call it. That means they get the last payment when they're about done.
Right.
You can break it up anyway, but 30, 30, and 40 on the end after they're done. So they don't get the bulk of the money until they're just about done.
Right.
And if you follow that, it should work for you.
I've got that's very sound advice, you guys. I've got a question here. It seems that everyone wants money up front nowadays. How far do you travel?
I have to say, I kind of saw that one up there, and I have to say, since we do mostly commercial,
Mhm.
I would have to find out where they live and probably make a referral to you,
Okay.
because we don't do that much residential anymore, but we do have one guy that can do it, and that he's honest and trustworthy.
Mhm.
That's what you're looking for.
Right.
He's gonna do what he said he's gonna do, and he's a licensed. Oh, and one other thing, while we were talking about hiring somebody, the
Mhm.
licenses,
Mhm.
plumber, electrician, HVAC, whatever. Make sure the license, and you can go to the Secretary of State, check them out.
Okay. Secretary of State and check out their license.
Yes, you can go to the Secretary of State, check out their license to make sure, especially if you're doing plumbing, electrical, HVAC, I mean heating and air conditioning type stuff. You got a remodel going, and then you got a plumber, you got an electrician coming over. So you might want to check them out, check out the references and so forth and so on.
Right.
Too. In addition, I forgot about that.
And then what about my homeowner's insurance? Do I need to do anything different with my homeowner's insurance?
Well, what you're going to do with the homeowner's insurance, it depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
Homeowner's insurance is like this. The guy comes out to do the roof. He falls off your roof. Now, whose insurance is going to take care of it? His or yours? Okay. A lot of times we don't think about the insurance aspect of it and whether our homeowner insurance is going to take care of that. So you have to, okay, look in your policy or call your agent, and he'll tell you what's covered when you start to do these projects. As I said, tree cutters, roofers, drywall people, in our industry, they got the highest for as what we call ER rating. That is a emergency something they call it. But anyway, they have the highest. So what you have to do is make sure that they got an insurance policy. And I can't emphasize that enough, that they need the policy, and you need to check it out before you let them on your property. Okay, that they're covered to do all of that. That way it doesn't go. If they don't, you know where it's going? Against your homeowner's
That's
insurance.
right. That's right.
The old folks say your insurance is gonna take it. Okay. And this day and time, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
A way out.
Right. So you guys, I mean, that's really sound advice in terms of checking and double checking to make sure before you start a job, one, you're reviewing that contract and making sure that you fully understand what's in the contract and that contractor, making sure that they have their credentials.
Right.
Are they licensed? Are they bonded? Are they insured? And if the policy, license, and bond is up to date.
Yeah. And lastly, check out some of the references.
Check out some of the references. Absolutely.
Because they can have all that, but you want to see what kind of quality of work that they have done in the past.
Right.
So I can't say enough, check the references.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I've learned is sometimes people, and you can't knock them for trying to work multiple jobs, but you don't want them to have so many jobs that
Mhm.
that is you're not able to get yours done, and that they're juggling, and I've seen that they don't show up to your job for
Yeah.
7 or 8 days because they've gotten a new job, and they're working the new job, and they're trying to keep all of you guys happy.
Well, the way to stop that, and this is, we get it, and you put that in the contract. You're going to start on this date,
Mm,
and we're going to end here.
awesome.
That way, there's no loophole in terms of when you start and finish. I don't care how many jobs you got. Else it's going to affect the pay, and nobody wants that. So you got to tie to, and a lot of people then grant you a lot of work up front to make sure that the schedule and all the money go together. But it's going to save you a headache in the long run in terms of if something does go south or he does get another job and he don't show up to yours for 3 weeks. You got to cover the bases in terms of a schedule. We never get that. I've seen that too many times where we never get the schedule. Okay, you're going to be here Monday, and we're going to start, and you're going to do this, but after that, you're going for 2 or 3 days, or a week, or whatever. And what am I going to do? You call in and answer the phone or whatever. So that schedule is very important part of your contract.
And one other thing. So when you're interviewing the guy, that's basically what you're doing.
Right.
You need to talk to him also about how much work you got and schedule. And when you check them references, they're going to tell you whether he's finished on time or not. So
right.
it's some work you have to do, but it's worth it in the long run, so you don't pull your hair out and headaches along the way. So if you take and do that up front, because people will tell you whether he did a good job, and they're going to tell you a lot, not his life story, but they're going to tell you what kind of contractor he really is.
Right. And so it would probably behoove you to have your little interview sheet for those people.
That is
job done on time, and so ask those questions, those pertinent questions that you want to know about your project, because that's number one for me. Start to finish, how much time will this take? What is it going to cost me? And let's talk about a pay schedule. And you hold some of that purse until the job is done.
Yeah. I would say, like my brother, 30, 40, however you structure it, but I would backload it versus front load, because people front load and then they don't get nothing on the back end of it.
Right.
But headaches.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. All right. You guys, I knew I was going to get a winner today with the two of you all.
I don't know what I'm like. We do our best.
Those Burn boys, they just, the thing I love about you all is you're very straightforward, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't see any retirement coming soon. So you've already told me what the plan was, so I can always keep my list.
Yeah,
we got your list.
We got your list.
I can keep my list over here that I got to the side. I have to look for somebody else. But on a serious note, I love what you all are doing in the community. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pouring into our young people, because the skills that you have, go a long way. That will take them into places. I know I had a cousin that said that her son was interested in plumbing, and I said, that is fantastic.
Yes.
Tell him to stick with it. If he enjoys it, tell him to stick with it, because sometimes these long lost crafts that we have and skills that we have, they are going to be so needed in the near future.
And especially for Afro Americans and Black, we just don't have enough Black plumbers, even electricians, HVAC guys, and I just believe that we just need, and our young black men just don't see it. And I'm gonna say to you honest, my brother and I, we're college graduates, but I am nowhere near what I went to college for. But I like what I do, and I enjoy what I do. But I wish there was more blacks, young black men, that would follow in our footsteps to be plumbers, electricians, whatever, because the trades it pays pretty good.
Right. And the work is out there.
And the work is out there.
And
So you just gotta, but we just, it ain't about the music and all other stuff we into, but we just don't look at that particular trade. I don't want to. And I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done. It isn't easy. It wasn't easy for me, but it's a reward at the end where you are. And my brother and I do pretty good at
it. Absolutely. And I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
You guys, pretty solid guys. And we want to thank you all for your transparency this evening and for sharing with us a lot of information from, you telling us how you got started. And I absolutely love that story. I can't believe it. That was their loss and your gain. That's how I look at that. Because that was God's hand in that, saying that, guess what, guys, I got something better for you. And you have the skill set to go do it. I just need you to believe in yourselves. And you all did. Believe in yourself and that you can do it. And you're doing it. And you're showing others that it can be done. So I want to thank y'all for joining us this evening.
My pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, it is.
You don't have to stop by.
And we appreciate you having us.
Anytime.
All right.
I'll call and get the lunch menu for what you want. One's on me. I got it.
All righty. We appreciate it.
All right, Joe. That's a good one. Thank you.